And as we come on the air, long lines of mourners are paying their respects to the late Queen. The monarch's coffin with a 500-year-old crown atop is lying in rest at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. Earlier, we witnessed a solemn tradition. King Charles III and his 3 siblings stood guard. And here at Buckingham Palace, we saw the first changing of the King's Guard in 70 years. It has been a busy day for the new king. He said today he felt the weight of history, but today you could almost see the weight of grief for a son who just lost his mother. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, and CBS's Elizabeth Palmer will start us off from Edinburgh. Good evening, Elizabeth.
Good evening, Nora. Well, the crowds here were certainly dense, but the mood wasn't sad so much as solemn and respectful. People are very aware that they're witness to an extraordinary historical turning point. The band struck up the anthem as Queen Elizabeth left Holyrood House, her Edinburgh home, for the last time, carried by soldiers from the Scottish Regiment. The hearse bore her coffin to St. Giles's Cathedral past silent crowds, her 4 children walking behind, Princess Anne, the Princes Andrew and Edward, and King Charles. Still in official mourning, but already hard at work, Charles's day had begun in London, in Westminster Hall, the room where his mother will lie in state later this week. He accepted the condolences of members of Parliament and the House of Lords.
As I stand before you today, I cannot help but feel the weight of history which surrounds us.
King Charles then flew to Scotland, and first, with his wife Camilla, he met a few of his subjects.
Thank you so much for your kind thoughts.
Then he addressed Scottish politicians.
If I might paraphrase the words of the great Robert Burns, my dear mother was the friend of man, the friend of truth, the friend of age, and guide of youth.
In St. Giles's Cathedral, a service of thanksgiving for Queen Elizabeth's life began. As the oldest crown in the British Isles, the crown of Scotland was placed on her coffin. Outside, thousands of people waited patiently in line for their chance to file inside and pay their respects.
People don't realise how much the Scots loved her.
Why?
Because who she was. It's the person she was, not the Queen, but the person she was.
Does it feel like a great moment of community?
We are all kind of sharing the same feeling of grief, of loss.
I just think that this country is not going to be the same without her.
This evening, King Charles, his 2 brothers and his sister gathered around the Queen's coffin and stood vigil, heads bowed in homage to a remarkable monarch, their mother. Tomorrow, the Queen's body will be flown on a Royal Air Force plane to London, where, as you well know, Nora, hundreds of thousands of people are waiting to pay tribute to her there.
Elizabeth Palmer, thank you very much.